What's going on, everybody? We got the Eagles Collective. I got my boy Scott. What's going on, Scott?
Yo, what's good?
Hey, we had a good time Saturday. We had a real good time Saturday.
Sure did,
Shout
bro.
out to everybody coming out, checking us out over at Walk-Ons. I had a good time. Jay was there. We're gonna definitely have a lot of good content to show y'all out there. Scott, what was our first draft like for you?
First draft was dope, man. I appreciate, like Warren said, I appreciate everybody that pulled up. We've been planning that for a while. We had some high expectations, but we knew what to expect, and it was kind of exactly what we discussed and talked about. So I think it was cool. I think huge shout out to walk-ons because from the manager to just all the people, they were very supportive and helpful. So I think we kind of locked in some future events there too. Plus,
Yeah,
it was
man.
the first time that us four all got together, so that was dope.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about everything that happened. It was definitely a good experience being out there, and then I think it was good just us it being kind of our thing that we just taken over,
Yeah,
especially what we have right now. Just kind of making moves like that. That's just a step up from where we're trying to go. But yeah, on top of that, your interviews are good, man. Like we gotta let people know. Hey, if anybody wants to go on YouTube and check us out, Scott did a rapid fire just questions with everybody that showed up, and appreciate everybody that was on the show that Scott did. But yeah, Scott, just talk about it a little bit.
yeah. First, I wanna shout out my boy Todd, Jalen, Stefan, everybody that wanted to get interviewed. That was dope. Um, Sorry to everybody I didn't get to interview because I know there was a lot more people that I ended up not being able to get to, but that was fun, man. I think a lot more of that content is to come in the future as well. I think a lot of people like that, and I enjoy it the most. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, everybody
Yeah,
go check that out.
yeah, most definitely. But let's go ahead and get started into this draft. That's where I know everybody's watching. But one big thing that I had and I wanted to question was we didn't pick up a tight end this whole draft. Like, why is that, bro? Like, why no tight end? What you think?
I mean, it's hard to say because I think that the main point is kind of that they weren't able to draft one of the premier tight ends. Um, Pretty much the three good ones. This wasn't like a huge tight end draft, in my opinion. You know, you had Colston Loveland, you had Tyler Warren, you had Elijah Arroyo. Other than that, there was no like standout tight ends. So I think if the Eagles didn't think that they were going to get any one of those guys, they probably weren't going to waste a pick on another one. Um, Plus, we do have Dallas Goedert, obviously 1 year left on his deal, so it's not like a huge deal. Plus, all the guys they picked up in the off season so far, these random tight ends.
Mm,
Um, I just think it wasn't a huge necessary, especially if we can't get a luxury one. So
yeah, then this is just a list of all the tight ends we have on our roster right now. Like we have almost over seven.
way
So
too many.
yeah, it's kind of like a prove yourself thing. And I think for them to not pick up a tight end in this draft, that kind of lets Dallas Goedert know, and they kind of showing a sign to Dallas Goedert that we're not trying to replace you. Like we want to keep you. Like it's more
Yeah.
of just us coming to agreement on the right price. Like, does his injuries bother you a little bit? Like, if he was to come back, how much production can you see out of him coming back with his injury history?
I mean, I think we can all see it. Dallas Goedert is a super productive tight end. Like he puts, especially in the playoffs when it matters the most, when the game's on the line, like we saw with the Saints game. If you remember, I think it was the third game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 7-9, I think, and then he just got like a 60-yard touchdown or put us in scoring position. So he's a big playmaker guy. He's
Mm-hmm.
a great blocker, great pass catcher. He's pretty much everything you want in a tight end, but the guy's made of paper at the end of the day, and that's a huge problem in football.
Huge problem. No, I agree with you. Let's go ahead and look at these draft picks because I personally, I'm kind of up in the air on a few picks, but let's just look at them real quick and then we'll break them down by each individual player. But first, we had Jihaad Campbell, first pick, then Andrew Mukuba, Ty Robinson, Mac McWilliams, Smael Mondon, Drew McKendall, Kyle, Myles, Cameron Williams, and then Antwuan Powell. So looking at this, we can all tell these are not people that we expected. They definitely weren't. But Jihaad Campbell, let's just get started with him. Just right now, Alabama's linebacker. It's said that he's more of an off-ball linebacker, and I definitely see what they're trying to do with him. As we all found out about the pick, we did our research, did our homework, looking at him. I think it's a good move. The only thing that really concerns me is the injuries. But just going into this, what's your thoughts on picking up a linebacker first pick of the draft?
Obviously, I wasn't expecting a linebacker in the first round, and when I saw it, I knew how good of a player he was, but I was still kind of iffy on it. I expected us to get a safety, but I think if the guy from South Carolina was available, we probably would have gotten him. But I mean, looking at Jihaad Campbell's tape, I mean, the dude can do a lot of things. He's good in coverage. He's a bull rusher. Like he's kind of like a Micah Parsons type build. Um, he does everything we need in a linebacker. Like you said, he is more of an off-ball linebacker, especially looking at tape. He's an edge rusher too. But I am concerned about the injuries. He was projected to go top 12, and all 30 teams or all 31 teams passed on him. So that's saying something. But at the end of the day, Howie saw something he liked, and this dude's got the ability to, if it all goes well, if he lives up to the hype, be a top back in this league.
Yeah, no, and I'm kind of like you. I'm just curious on the injury situation because from what I was told, he got surgery in March for his shoulder. And now people are saying there was issues with his knees now. So I guess my biggest thing, and which I'm kind of glad about, just with the Eagles organization, at least we're a team that can take that risk. I know a lot of GMs wouldn't take that risk on a player with those injuries, but we're in such a good position right now to where they can do those things. But if I had to give this a grade, I would give it a B+. B+. The only reason why it doesn't have an A is because of the injuries. That's it.
So my pick was actually an A, my grade.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I was thinking about going A+. The only reason I did, it's because, I mean, the standout player that he truly is. The reason I didn't is because, for one, I was expecting a safety, but he's off the boards, the one that I think the Eagles wanted. So obviously that's out of our control, but also the injuries too. It's kind of tough when you're 21 years old and you're already dealing with 2 injuries before you even put an NFL jersey on. But at the end of the day, I think we have the training staff to be able to help with those issues too. Because sometimes it's in college, you can get injured from not having a good training staff around you. Anything, not having the correct diet, your strength and conditioning coaches aren't as good as they're supposed to be. So we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely happy with the pick, bro.
Yeah. And just the Eagles being able to take risks like that. Like, remember, they took a risk on Nakobe Dean, picking him up. A risk on Nolan Smith. Like, and even Jalen Carter, they took a risk on that. And we've reaped the benefits of it. So I definitely think that it can be a good move. I kind of get that feeling that, remember when Cooper came in right after the bye week? I feel like we're going to get something like that with them. Like him, he may not start the season, but he'll come in the middle of the season and kind of we'll see what he's capable of doing. So I like that.
You think that even with Nakobe being out for those first 9-10 weeks?
I personally think Nakobe Dean might be out for the whole season. Just they want him to be healthy coming back. Like, last thing you want to do is rush him back. And like it's becoming a trend now of him getting hurt. And I'm glad you brought that up. With all those linebackers that I showed up there, do you feel like we're in plans to keep Nakobe Dean?
I mean, a lot of those guys we haven't even really seen play yet. So it's really tough to say that right now. I think the Eagles do like Smael Jr. a little bit more than people think. A lot of people think it was just kind of like a hype pick, but I do think they like what they see. Um, but I don't know. That's a tough one because Nakobe's proven this was like his not really a prove it year, but he just balled out this year, and that's somebody that I think we should keep.
Yeah. No, definitely keep him. But if let's just say Trot comes out, he's doing well, and then even Jihaad Campbell, he comes out, he's doing well. Like that kind of puts Nakobe Dean in the situation after that
Yeah.
because I think his contract is coming up. So what are they going to do about that? So I'm just curious. That's a good point though. Let's go to the next pick. So next in the second round, we had Andrew Mukuba. I personally think this is a good pick just because the one thing that we're going to talk about with all these players is the term versatile. That like they all have versatility when it comes to their play style. He started off as a slot corner at Clemson, ended up last year transferring to Texas, just became safety, and he's a hitter. Like you think about Sidney Brown, you think about the performance we got out of CJGJ. Like he's parallel to them. Like he's right there with them. So looking at this pick, what was your thoughts, Jeff? I mean, Scott, my bad.
You good? It's funny you say that, bring up his hitting ability because I was literally about to say he's kind of like a Sidney Brown, but like less of a hothead than Sidney, but hits like Sidney does. Um, what I've heard from this guy, what I continue to hear from him, is that he puts the team on his back in situations where they need him the most. It sounds a lot like CJ Gardner-Johnson to me. He does the same exact thing. I didn't honestly know a whole lot about this guy. The only time I ever actually heard his name was when they played Arizona State in the playoffs, and he sealed the deal with the game-ending or game-winning interception. So if that's the only thing you know about the guy, then it's pretty good. But watching his tape, bro, he hits hard, and he has like a leadership ability to him. So I actually really like this pick.
Yeah, and we were all heartbroken when we traded CJ, and I think that we kind of made up for it with this pick. He's you can definitely tell that he's somebody like he wants to make his move, and Howie has a history of those second round picks being like all pros. So maybe we got something here. But just looking at his competition too, you got Sidney Brown, you got Lewis Seen, McCullum. Like you got, I think this is another pick to where he's going to have to earn his spot too. Like he's
100%.
definitely going to have to earn it. So I like that. I like that Vic is going to put him in that situation. But I think this is our starting safety right now.
I would say if we had to guess, we also haven't seen. I mean, we saw a lot from Tristan McCullum, and he shows signs, but I don't think he's like a perennial starter. But I do want to see a little bit more of Lewis Sign too.
Yes, I see his injuries is the thing that hurts him. So like
Yeah,
these injuries are crazy. These injuries are ridiculous. But
football, man, football's a gladiator sport.
you know, what do you grade this pick at?
I gave this one a B plus. I like it a lot.
Nice. I'm right there with you. I give it a B plus.
Yeah,
And shout out to Imani. Appreciate you watching us.
go Birds.
Next pick, Ty Robinson. Man, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one, Scott. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is one of them sleeper picks, in my opinion. He was projected to go mid to late fifth. We got him early in the fourth. He dominates the trenches. He's actually the fastest and strongest defensive tackle in the entire draft. He ran the fastest 40, and he bench pressed the most. We need that with Milton being gone. I think this is like the biggest steal of the draft, in my opinion, for us.
Yeah, and for him to fall that low in the draft is crazy. For him to fall that low is crazy to me. I like this pick. I watched this film after they picked him. Man, like if anything, this would be somebody who we wanted Jordan Davis to be.
Facts.
Like looking at his film, this would be somebody we wanted Jordan Davis to be. And I think the Eagles are still trying to find that that tough nose, aggressive, just defensive tackle. Like we got Jordan Davis on the side, but we need somebody to complement him. We need somebody like that. And I think this is our guy right here. What'd you grade him
It's
at?
crazy because before I give you my grade, bro, I never
Mhm.
heard of this guy in my entire life. And watching his film is like I have no idea how I never heard of this guy. I don't know why people are sleeping on him. Like maybe we're just seeing something that other people aren't. But I mean, this dude's pretty tough. I actually gave this for a third round pick. It's gonna sound crazy, but I gave this an A.
Yeah, no, I did the same thing. Yeah, I give it an A, just because everything you just said, and the Eagles, like other teams, we invest in the trenches, and he's a guy that I think under Clint Hurt, we can see him starting at least week 7, week 8. Like not
Yeah,
starting, but we can see him in that rotation. And
definitely rotation.
yeah, and Milton Williams, as much as we liked Milton Williams and we saw his progression, like he was not going to be our all-time defensive tackle. Like they keep those players in rotation. So I think this is a good move. Ajomo is definitely going to get more of the reps, but I
Yeah,
definitely want to see Ty Robinson out there. Yeah, A with me. I like it. No,
great
bro,
pick.
yeah, like that was when I saw that pick. Like we watched it together, and I was like, okay, he's good. Then we saw his highlights, and I'm like, yo, this dude's aggressive, bro. Like he's
Weird, bro. We were watching the TV like, damn.
yeah, like he's dominant. Like that's something that we need. A fun fact is he actually was a freshman when Cam Jurgens was there. So Cam Jurgens knows a little bit about him playing for Nebraska. So that's definitely it's good to bring in those players that at least play with each other. So it helps
Yeah,
them with getting acclimated with being out there. Um,
easier to build a relationship with everybody else.
exactly. The next pick, which I wasn't too thrilled on. I kind of see it as either a rotational piece, maybe development. But Mac McWilliams, what was your thoughts when you heard about that pick?
Not gonna lie, bro. We wasted a pick on an average at best backup when our
Mm,
DB room is already stacked as it is. Um, I'm sounding like a hater, but watching film, it doesn't even look like he can cover one on one. He may be like more of a nickel, so maybe like Cooper's backup or something like that. But
mm,
I didn't see anything that really stuck out, and it's kind of weird that we went cornerback with him at that with that pick.
yeah. Do you get like a do you get a Jalix Hunt vibe from him? Like, remember back when we drafted Jalix Hunt, nobody knew about him. Like, do you get possibly that could be what it is with this? Because he
I
did get
hope.
drafted in the same round as Jalix Hunt.
Did he really? I thought Jalen. Oh, that's right. Jalen Hunt was a fourth round pick. For some reason, I keep wanting to say he was a seventh round pick. But I mean, I hope, bro. That would be dope. But when we first got Jalen Hunt, I didn't watch any film on him until the season started. So I didn't know anything about him all the way up until training camp. But if it comes out to be a Jalen Hunt type situation where he can just develop in our, and that's one thing, bro, is like a lot of these players that people don't know, the Eagles take them in and just defensively, especially, just turn them into dogs.
Yeah, facts.
No
That's
pun
and
intended with Georgia.
no, we got Christian Parker too. That secondary
DB
coach.
coach. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he can coach him up to where I don't know what it is about cornerbacks right now. Like we got Keely Ringo, we got Eli Ricks. We got these cornerbacks, but I think this is going to be a very and Adoree Jackson, can't forget about him, that pickup from New York. But
Yeah.
I think that cornerback is going to be a vital piece going into this season because we don't have Slay anymore. You know, Klingons's going to be he's going to be on that other side. So who's going to take that place? That's a big question mark right there.
I did
But
honestly want us to make a trade for a free agent when it came to cornerback, just because the odds of, I mean, not to be superstitious, but we just got 2 lockdown corners in the last draft. Like, what are the odds we do that again? But
yeah, no,
you
that's
never
true.
know.
That's a good point. I grade this. I grade this a D. Like this is probably. I'll be honest. It's probably the most disappointing pick out of the whole draft. So I give it a D.
I actually gave it a D plus, so we're pretty close.
Facts. Next we got Smael Mondon. He's very versatile. He played with Georgia back with Jalen Carter, Kobe Dean, Ringo. Like he played with all those Georgia boys. So he definitely is another just bringing him back to the family type deal. So I was watching him. He's not bad. I personally think that his play style is more of what they want rather than Jeremiah Trotter Jr.'s. So I think those two are actually going to be going at it at camp to kind of see who's going to take that next role. But
I can see that.
Where'd you grade this up?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I think this is I've said I'm not gonna lie a bunch of times because watching film on these guys like definitely stuck out. Certain players definitely stuck out to me. I would say this is probably the second best steal in the draft that we got. Obviously, I'm not gonna grade a Georgia pick low no matter who it is, just because of the trust that I have in these guys. At this point,
Yeah.
we have no reason not to trust them. But I gave this an A. Looking at his film, bro, he can blitz like with the best of them in college football linebackers. Like you said, he is versatile. He can do a lot of different things. He was actually projected to be a second round pick. So the fact that we got him in the what did we get him in the 4th or 5th?
Yeah, we got him. We got him in the 5th.
So he's projected to go second, and we got him in the 5th. And I couldn't find any serious injury history. So I can definitely see this being a steal, especially since he's going to be with some of his boys.
Yeah, and that chemistry is going to kick back in that they have with each other. No, I think he was. I want to say he worked side by side with Nakobe Dean. I could be wrong, but I think he was one of those pieces that was with them. But yeah, I give this pick. I give it a B minus.
That's not bad.
I like it. Yeah, and next we got Drew Kendall, cornerback / guard. Now I like this pick just because we saw Cam Jurgens that championship game against the Commanders. We saw his injury. We saw he had a back injury. Back injury is nothing to joke about. I think this is a good piece for when Cam is hurt or if there ever is an injury. It's more of a plug and play piece and kind of putting him in that position that Cam Jurgens was in back when we had Kelsey, putting him at guard because the Eagles have had issues with that guard position for a minute.
Yeah.
Like they've been trying to find somebody to play that guard role. So I think this is good. They said his dad played for the Seahawks. He was a first-round pick back in the day with the Seahawks, so he definitely has that pedigree in him. I give it a B plus.
That's exactly what I gave it to. I think what you covered pretty much all of it about this guy. With our injury history on the O-line, just in general, especially at guard, Cam Jurgens at center, he was pretty much dead by the end of the season. I think it's huge when you can find, people overlook the center position a lot because not a lot of people can play it. It's not just a regular offensive line. You're always a step late. So to find somebody that can plug in at guard or plug in at center, that's massive, especially for a team like us where we really put emphasis on our offensive line. He was a first team All ACC his senior year, so he's coming off a really good college season. I think he's going to have some potential with us. I like it, so I gave it a B plus as well.
B plus. All right, talk about Kyle McCord for me.
Kyle McCord, I gave this one a C. If he wasn't from Philly, Might have been a C minus, but I always think it's dope when a hometown guy gets drafted to his hometown team. Same with Jihaad Campbell. Um, but yeah, he's from Philadelphia, grew up the Eagles fan. I think that part is just dope. It's deeper than football when it comes to that stuff. Um, Watching film on him, I didn't see a whole lot that really stood out. I thought he was a little bit better than he was, just because I know a guy that played running back with him, so I think the hype was there, but he's not really our typical style quarterback. We've been with the dual threat type quarterbacks recently. I think he's more of like a Tanner McKee, but he does have a pretty deep ball, which is always good. And his numbers against the blitz, especially his senior year, were really, really good. And we do get blitzed a lot, so I like it. I gave it a C. What about you?
I like it. He led the whole college football league in passing yards. So I
I did
think,
not know that. Wow.
yeah, so he led in passing yards. I think it's a good move. Uh, I want to see what he can do. Like, it's one of those, like, let's see what he can do. Under this team, we know we're mainly going to see him in the preseason, and knock on wood, if Jalen gets hurt, we might get some reps out of him there. Kind of like how we got reps with Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee. Um,
Yeah.
but I kind of like how they got their quarterback room right now. You got Dorian Thompson Robinson. Like, he is mobile when he needs to be. Maybe not the best passer, but you got that in there, and you just got a pocket passer. You got two pocket passers in there, so it's good to give the defense different looks. So I definitely like this move. If I had to give it a grade, I give it a B plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because we can, if he does perform well, like we can use him as a pick in a future draft.
That's what I always think because the Eagles, the Eagles are always going to take a quarterback. I mean, it seems like a recurring theme. No matter what round it's in, the Eagles always draft a quarterback or pick one up in the off season. So, who knows? Worst comes to worst, it was a late round pick. Best comes to best, he's a decent backup for us. So I don't think it's a
Mhm.
bad move. I did not know that he led college football in passing yards though. That's crazy.
Yeah, he did. Like, it was like, not saying he didn't play any SEC teams to where like he's
Yeah, of
just
course.
dominating over people, but that is pretty impressive to lead in passing yards. Um,
Yeah.
Myles Hinton, what do you think about him?
I'm not mad at this. Offensive tackle, it's a position where we need more depth. So I'm not mad at it. I don't think it's like a great pick. I watched some of his tape. It looks like he lacks some aggressiveness. I don't see him being as aggressive as I thought, but I did see one play where he had probably more aggressiveness than any other offensive tackle. It just doesn't look like a consistent thing for me. But
Yeah,
Stout knows what he's doing. He's not going to come. It's not going to be, peaches and roses. He's going to come here. He's going to work, and his frame is insane. I think he's 6'6", 340 or something like that. So that definitely helps. But I'm not mad at it. I like it. I give it a C.
yeah. Now, I'm not sure what side of the ball he's going to be on, but not what side of the ball, but is he more of a replacement for Lane Johnson or Mulata? Like, is whose backup is he
It looks
gonna be
like
for?
most of the film that I saw, he was at left tackle, so it would be a backup for Malata.
Okay, because I don't
So
think
he's kind of
Mulata
like the
has a
same height.
backup.
Yeah, so most likely that's what that pick was. That's actually a good point you brought up because I didn't think of that until just now either. But he has the same frame as Jordan Mailata too, so that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, like that's definitely a good move. He I saw his dad play with the Colts, so he's
Oh wow.
another one. He has that pedigree, and watching his film, he doesn't. He gets on the field. Like, one thing that I noticed about both of these, well, all three of these offensive linemen, they don't mind running upfield. They don't. They definitely don't mind running upfield. So I think that would be a good pick. Just kind of like just development when it comes to that. What did you end up grading them at?
I put him at a C minus actually. I put him at a C minus. Myles Hinton.
See, okay. I'll put it at a B just because I definitely see where it can go. After maybe Stoutling you, just getting some years in and getting some reps with that, I can definitely see where it can go because we are going to need somebody to be there whenever our linemen get injured.
Yeah, this was definitely a stout pick for sure.
Yeah, because we still have Steen, right? We still have Tyler Steen,
Hmm.
but we let Fred Johnson walk. So I don't know who else we got. Trevor Keegan, I think. That
Yeah,
there.
Trevor Keegan, because Fred Johnson was Lane's backup.
Didn't he play with Trevor Keegan? I believe
Uh,
Trevor
I'm not
Keegan
sure. I
went to
thought,
Michigan, right?
yeah, but didn't he transfer, or am I thinking of someone else? I don't know. I don't know if I'm not sure. That's a good question.
I'm gonna look that up real quick. Just because
But
I'm
yeah, I
curious,
think
because that kind of helps go with, hey, the Stoutling kind of like those Michigan offensive linemen? Like, could that be something Stoutling likes in these players? So
could be. Who else do we have on the O line from Michigan?
let's see. Got mm, Trevor Keegan. Yeah, he went to Michigan.
Okay,
Yeah, so
so
they
there's
have
some
to know
history
each
there.
other. Yeah.
Yeah,
So no, that's good. That's a good move. Like it's those small things like that, like that helps make things put things together. So I like that. Um Cameron Williams. I think this is probably a backup piece, kind of like we were talking about with Myles Hinton. I like it. It's good. Like it's like I really don't care how these linemen come in to the organization. I know how they're gonna leave. Like that's why it doesn't really matter, but you can definitely tell that they have a type when it comes to their linemen. So I think this is a good pick. I give it a B plus.
for Cameron Williams, B plus.
Yeah.
I gave it a B plus as well. Honestly, looking at his tape, I thought I like him more than Myles Hinton. Um,
Okay.
I think he's another dude. He's like 6'7", 340 or something like that. He's like just a massive dude.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, we've had success with defensive or with O line guys from Texas, so that fits in well. Um, I think it's a good steal. It's probably like the number 3 steal if I had to pick. And when you have 3 steals in a draft, it seems pretty good. But yeah, I like him a lot. I think he's got a lot of aggressiveness, a lot of size, big body. He actually moves pretty well for his size too. So
Okay. Okay. What's your thoughts on Antwuan Powell?
Antwuan Powell, I gave that one a B. He's really strong. That dude bench press 145 like 30 times or something like that. So obviously at that position, that's crazy. He's a really good counter rusher.
Okay.
He's got the
Okay.
aggressiveness.
What's your
Um,
thoughts on him?
Whoa, did you hear that? Audio's good.
Yeah, audio's good.
Okay. But yeah, I like this pick. I think we had success with a lot of this position in the draft previously, so I think he'll fit right in. I give it a B. What about you?
I give it. I actually give this one an A minus, and the reason why because he actually led the league third in sacks.
He
So
had what,
he's
12.5, right?
yeah he was up there
Okay.
with the sack. So I think this is a steal that the Eagles got off of this. Um, Virginia Tech player, like I think I see them. I see growth with them. I see something as like almost like a Jalix Hunt. Like I get more of a Jalix Hunt vibe from this player, and more of a rotational piece coming in. Um, that's kind of the vibe that I get with this one. But I give it A minus.
I keep seeing him listed as linebacker on some things and then edge rusher on other things. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
he
the ability.
started off as a he started off as an edge rusher, and they moved him over to the other side at linebacker.
I mean, that's good
So
too, though. If he
yeah,
has the
it's
ability to do both.
versatility is crazy with these teams.
Bro, all these picks. I mean, a lot of these picks this year, just guys with versatility, and that's huge, especially in today's NFL because it's evolving. You kind of have to do a little bit more than one thing.
No, that's facts. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. So this was all the picks from the draft. Then we got the undrafted free agents, and hey, we can't sleep on undrafted free agents just off the simple fact that Reed Blankenship was an undrafted free agent. So like, you can't sleep on them for that. Like, they just got to prove themselves. But I don't know too much about a lot of them, but the ones that catch my eye is the Gabe Taylor. Just a fun fact about him. That's Sean Taylor from the Redskins. That's his younger brother. We all know how he performed and how he was in the league for we lost him. But yeah, I think this is good. Not saying he's going to be like him, but it's good that he's getting that opportunity with us. Another player that I liked was Maxon Hook. That was a good move. Give Quinyon somebody that was his old roommate, best friend. Like, definitely a good move there. And then this tackle that we picked up, Pierce from Rutgers.
Colin Pierce?
Yeah. That's a big one for me. I think that's a good move just because, like I said, once you go to Stoutland University, like, your development and your growth, working with Stoutland just takes you to another level. So just seeing what he has the ability to do under Stoutland's coaching. Was there anybody that stood out to you with the undrafted free agents?
I was going to bring up Colin Pierce as one of my guys. He definitely stood out. Obviously, we keep saying it. We love O-line depth. We have the best O-line coach in the history. So, it's just more room to improve and grow. And he's another, we keep talking about versatility. He's another guy who can play left tackle just as good as he can play right tackle. So I always appreciate that. I'm not going to lie, though, Montreal Johnson. Have you heard anything about that guy?
I have not. Tell me a little bit about him.
So watching film, he was the first one that stood out to me. He is a beast. He's super physical. He's versatile. He can cut pretty good. I'm not going to say he can cut like Shady, but he's got some movement to him. I'm honestly really surprised he didn't get drafted. I watched a couple Florida games this year. Both the games that I watched, he rushed for over 100 yards or at least close to it. So he stood out to me a lot. I think that's pretty cool. We have a good running back room as it is. So I don't know how much reps he's going to get, but I think he can fit in as, like a fourth back or something like that. BJ Mays is another one that stood out to me. He's really good in the nickel. We definitely need that, that nickel depth. I think he actually is better than McWilliams. So I'm not sure how that guy didn't get drafted, but I think that's going to be solid for the CB room. And then the other two guys, like you said, Max and Hook, knows Q, roommates, best friends I even saw somewhere else. So that's always good when a player can come in and see some familiar faces. But the rest of the guys, I don't know too well. Didn't do a whole lot of research on him. But I did hear about that other running back, the Powell guy.
Yeah.
I heard he was supposed to be pretty good. I guess we'll just have to see. But I like it. Like you said, with Reed Blankenship, he's, that's one of our best undrafted free agent pickups I think the Eagles have ever had. So I don't sleep on undrafted free agents anymore. You got to prove it.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. And what you were saying about that running back from Florida, can you see him as being a punt or kick returner?
He's not. It depends who we would have there already because he's not super, super fast. He's just he's shifty and he's physical. So I'm not sure about that. But I honestly, bro, put anybody back there besides Cooper because I don't want Cooper getting hurt.
Yeah. And I think we let Brendan Covey walk, I believe.
We let Brendan Covey walk, but Jahan Dotson's a good punt returner, so
he is. He's your wide receiver 3 though, too.
That's also another thing. So I mean, yeah, if he can do it, I didn't see a whole lot of I saw one play where he had like a
Shiftiness.
70-yard. What's that?
He didn't look as shifty, you would say, for punter kick
I
return.
mean, yeah, he's got the shiftiness there, but it's just the speed. Like in order to break through them holes and see the gaps, you gotta be super quick. But I
That's
mean,
true.
it can't hurt. That's something we'll figure out in training camp.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Um, but no, what would you grade the draft as a whole? What grade would you give him?
I'm gonna give it a I'm gonna give it a B plus. Um, I think we had some really good picks. It's not exactly what we expected, but I mean, Howie always has a way of finding things, doing exactly what we need. I like that he lets Stout kind of take over for the O line, or not take over, but he accepts insight from people, and pretty much we never. It wasn't one of those drafts where we had to find a star player. Obviously, everybody knows all of our star players are amazing, and we don't need another superstar. But I think
Mhm.
with development, one of them could be. But I think with that Jihaad Campbell pick, that's a possibility there. But I liked it, bro. I think we did really well for depth pieces and all that stuff. What do you think?
Well, I'm kind of right there with you with a B. I'll give it a B minus just to
Okay.
just to kind of be a little bit opposite of it. I think B minus just because we all these players that we picked up, like they're not guaranteed starters. Like
Yeah.
none of them are truly guaranteed starters, and they're going in to compete for a role. More so, like when we got Jalen Carter, like we knew he was going to be a starter. When we picked up Quinyon, we knew he was going to be a starter. Like Bradbury was not getting back on the field. Like
No.
these things, like we kind of knew like this was going to be our starter. I didn't see that out of anybody yet, but definitely like rotation, development, and just like see what they can do and compete for it, or maybe even just practice squad. So I think that's why I gave it to B minus, just because nobody's guaranteed to start.
Yeah.
But I do like the picks that were made though. So given you gave the Eagles a B plus, right?
B plus.
So we'll start off with the NFC East division, and I want your grade from each of those teams. We'll go over that, and then after we'll talk about out of the whole NFL, who do you think made the best move? So
Okay.
yeah, so let's do NFC East. Let's just start off with the most hated team in America, Cowboys.
I'm not
What do you
gonna
think
lie,
they
bro.
did?
I think the Cowboys actually, I hate to say it because I don't know if I've ever said this. I think the last time I probably said this was 2016, but I think they had
Mm-hmm.
a pretty good draft. I was thrown off at first by their first pick, that offensive, he's an offensive guard, I think. Never heard of him.
Yeah,
Um,
Tyler Booker.
yeah, but I guess, I didn't do any research on him, but from what I hear, he's the best offensive guard in football last year.
Mm-hmm.
They made a good pickup at running back, getting Jaden Blue. I mean, that dude's it's an elusive back. They don't really have like a premier starter at running back right now, so I don't think that can hurt. And they got him late, so that's always good. I know they were looking for a superstar wide receiver. They weren't
Mm-hmm.
able to get that, but it seemed to me kind of like Jerry Jones let someone else make these picks because they were not bad.
Yeah, they're not bad. You can definitely tell they look to see who we made visits with and kind of pulled from them.
Yeah.
Uh, I think what was your grade you gave them?
I didn't give him a grade. I would say B minus. I mean, without thinking a whole lot about it,
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the better drafts that I've seen from the Cowboys in recent years. So I'm not trying to
Yeah,
hate too much on it because there was some good picks. I'll give it a B minus.
yeah. I would give them a B, just straight up B, because at the end of the day, like they're not good, but
No, they still
we can
suck. It's not
yeah,
going to
it's
make much
it's
of a
it's
difference.
one of those things like we're grading off your effort. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's more of an effort grade. So I would give him a B. Like I know Donovan Baku, I believe, the edge rusher that we had a visit with, they picked him up. Jaden
Yeah.
Blue, we interviewed with him. They picked him up. The Tyler Booker, I think I feel like he's just going to give us a lot of bulletin board material. You're already
He
pissing
already
off Jalen
has.
Carter. You're already
Yeah,
pissing
like
off
dude,
Jalen Carter. That's crazy.
how stupid can you possibly be? I mean, you already got drafted to the Cowboys. You're already a dummy. Don't make it worse.
Yeah. So I think we're both on the same level with that. What about the Commanders?
Commanders, I mean, they kind of did to me. It seemed like they did similar to what we did. They just got a lot of depth pieces. Nobody really stands out too much.
Yeah.
Um, they did a lot of their work in the offseason last year and then in free agency this year. So
Mhm.
I didn't see a whole lot of standout picks. Just looks like some depth pieces. Um, I don't have too much to say about the Commanders. What about you?
No, I feel you. I give them a B. Like they made the necessary picks. I think a lot of the people they're trying to pick up was mainly in free agency rather than draft. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
they for some reason they keep going older. Like they have something about older players that they try to just they want to bring them back. Giants. I'll speak on the Giants. I think the Giants had a plus draft just because from where they were and where they're at now with in the first round you picking up well you got Jackson Dart and you got Abdul
Abdul
Carter.
Carter.
Yeah, all in the first round. Like that was a good move. We all know they needed a quarterback. Bringing in an edge rusher, like the Giants' defensive line is a solid defensive line, like with Dexter Lawrence and all them, Thibodeau, Brian Burns, all them. Then you're bringing in a rookie to start that off. They did get my boy Scatterboo. Like
Yep.
I like as much as a lot of people aren't fans of him. I know he's slow, but yo, like resilient. That's my thing. Uh, I think they had the best draft out of the NFC East from where they were leaving out of the 2024 season. Um, where do you rank them out
Out of the NFC East, I would say I
or
still put
grade?
our draft above.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna grade them a B minus. I
Mm-hmm.
think they did have a really good draft. I think the two that stand out, I think that first round is like it just stands out so much because you drafted the best edge rusher in college football for the past 2 seasons. Everybody wanted him, like every single organization wanted Abdul Carter. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like you said, their D line is already phenomenal. So adding him is just going to be ridiculous. Um, Jackson Dart, people have been sleeping on that man. I don't care what anybody says. Jackson Dart is a great quarterback. Um, and they obviously were in need of one. I think he's one of those guys that could probably come in and start. I don't like saying that about quarterbacks though, because I think that the developmental process is super important in the NFL when you're coming from a different scheme in college. But some of their other picks are pretty good too, like the Darius Alexander guy, the cornerback.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really good too. A lot of people wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they did have a good draft, but they suck so bad that it's like I don't think it matters.
Yeah. No, that is true. Out of the whole NFL, who do you think had the best draft?
So this might come to a shocker to some people, but I'm gonna go with Seattle. I think Seattle was one of those teams where you finish a season, you didn't do too well, you still had a winning season. You get rid of your quarterback, you lose your best wide receiver, you lose a lot of offensive line. Pretty much all the good people on your team are gone. So drafting a quarterback like Jalen Milroe uh, late in the third round is pretty good. He's a similar player to Geno Smith, so I think he's gonna fit in to the role. I know they got Sam Darnold, but having Jalen Milroe as a backup is pretty solid. Um, let's see, they got the second ranked safety. I mean, in the whole entire draft, the second ranked safety. They got a top five tight end. Um, Damian
Wow.
Martinez, the guy from Miami, he's the running back that they drafted. He averaged 5 yards per rush after contact last year.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, their first pick was a huge need, obviously, like I mentioned. The O line struggles. They had a lot of struggles with penalties. Um, they lost their good offensive line guys. So keeping Geno protected, obviously that's an emphasis for him. Keeping what's his name protected. Sorry, Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
And then one last thing I do have to say about them. I know I've been hogging this conversation.
No,
Uh,
you're good.
the wide receiver room. A lot of people have been talking about their wide receiver room, but they got Cooper Kupp, they got Jackson Smith, they got MVS from the Chiefs, and the rookie from Colorado State. Apparently, he's got like some of the best speed, and he can return
Mm-hmm.
punts. He's great with the yak yards. So, I mean, Seattle, bro, that's an A+ draft for me, in my
Okay.
opinion.
No, I like that. I think that is all good. Sam Darnold is going to be the question mark. That's the
Yeah,
only
for sure.
thing. Sam Darnold. I kind of like the Patriots moves that they
Yeah,
made. Just it kind of they're doing it a lot quicker. But remember back when we got Jalen and we saw what they had with Jalen, they just started building around him. Like it looks like that's kind of like what the Patriots are doing right now. Like
yeah,
just building around Drake May, they're bought in on him. So I think that was a good move. I will say, I feel like I'm glad we didn't do too many draft conversations because they clearly didn't pick anybody that we were talking about. So,
yeah.
so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on that. But no, I think the Patriots are going to do very well. Looking at their division, they really the whole goal is to beat Josh Allen. When you
Yeah.
really think about it, like that's what all these teams did. They just built to be the best team in their division. You can clearly see that's what they did with Jalen. Like they got all these defensive linemen to go after Jalen and try to stop Saquon. So good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, but yeah, bro. I think that's all we wanted to talk about. I know the next time we get on here, we're talking about going on when they release the schedule, May 14th. I think that would be good to go and see who we actually have in the order, because sometimes the schedule may not be the problem, but the order can throw us off, and we all saw that 2023 season with that gauntlet of teams. So I'm just curious to see who we have then, and also who our first game is going to be against, because
Yeah, we've been waiting
everybody's
for
been
that.
talking.
A lot of people talking trash too. I hear Amon-Ra St. Brown getting loud.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's the Lions.
Who do you? So you want the Lions to be the first team?
I want the Lions for sure. I mean, we beat them in 2023. They're still talking. They can't make a NFC Championship game, but they're still yapping. So I want to destroy them at home week 1.
I like that. Yeah, I kind of want the Commanders just because that was like what we did to them. You know, they want their get back. Like they're gonna try, but I think with that ring ceremony, that's not gonna be. It's not gonna be a good look for them. But
Not at all.
but no, bro. Glad we got on here. Is there anything you want to go over before we head on out?
I think we covered pretty much everything. I mean, we had a good draft. I'm happy with it. I think it'll be fun to talk about the schedule when that releases. See who we're playing and when instead.
And minicamp started today, so we're going to start seeing a lot of those free agents that we picked up. I know there's clips of AJ Dillon out there, so we're definitely going to see what we got. Yeah, let's get up on out of here.
Let's go.
Awesome, bro. Go Birds.